Hi everyone, welcome to today's trade of the day, and for today's trade of the day I will be looking at the dollar CAD. Now why I chose to look at the dollar CAD is because today we have quite a bit of dollar news coming out, and later on in the evening Singapore time we have the CAD GDP coming up. Now what I have here is also the dollar CAD chart on the daily. We see that price made a low. This is the low of 2020 so far, back in January, and then dollar CAD pushed all the way up on dollar strength, right, and oil weakness all the way in March. Alright, and we see that price has been steadily drifting lower. Now if we were to take a retracement, actually there's no real need for retracement, but from low to the high we see that price has nearly come back down to the January 2020 low. And if I were to put a support at the low here of January 2020, see at a 1.2951 level, we see that price is actually approaching it soon. Okay, so we can use that as a strong support level, a long-term support level. So let's very quickly also look at the last price movement. Price made a high here, and that was when price really started making a push down. So we can also use a retracement from this level, from the high to the low, and we open all Fibonacci ratios. Alright, we see that our support is actually quite close to the negative 27.2 level. Alright, but let's ignore that for now. The 23.6% is actually at this high over here. So let's just highlight this as a daily resistance and also highlight the 23.6%. Okay, with that, let's quickly go down to the 4 hours. Now the 4 hours, this is what we see. Okay, so price sort of made a sideways before really breaking below previous support and making a push down. Okay, we can also use a retracement of the last down movement from the high to the low, open all Fibonacci ratios, and we can see that the 38.2 is actually close to this graphical overlap level, okay, this resistance here. So if anything, price has already surpassed strong supports. Okay, so the bias that we have is for price to actually push down to 2020 low, okay, all the way down to 129.51.9. So what we have to do now is to look for a nice entrance. Okay, the entrance of course can be this graphical support, graphical overlap. Why a graphical overlap? Because if you set and close, you see that price tested it multiple times, once and twice, and all this time price spiked to the 38. Okay, there you have it. So we can short from anywhere below 1.3133 all the way down to our take profit at 129.51.9. Let's just quickly go down to the 1 hour to try and fine tune it and see whether there is any sort of hints that the market will give us to really fine tune our entry. So I'll put this as our take profit. Okay. Now we also see that price has steadily been making lower lows, lower highs, sorry, and that is a trademark of a market in the downtrend. So we can draw a trend line. Okay, the trend line, you can cut the wicks, but try not to cut the candles. Alright, and we see that price recently, okay, whipsawed around this area, right, before making a push down. So if anything, we can actually use this as a graphical level. See this graphical level, sort of a entry. Okay, sorry, I just put a spike. Actually, I'll back it up a bit to give the trade a bit more room. I can use this as sort of an entry, a sell entry. If I'm an intraday trader, I can use it as a sell entry. I can wait for price to pull back up. Alright, there seems to be a tweezer bottom pattern forming, and then I'll go short. Okay, so definitely this is one way of doing it. Alright, the other way of doing it is really to wait for price to come back and retest this graphical area that you guys are looking at. So we have two sell entries. One is on the 4 hour chart for those who really want to eradicate the noise, sort of this kind of whipsaw, and then we have a sell entry for the 1 hour, which is really the intraday. Alright, and people will ask me where my stop loss will be, right? My stop loss, very clearly, whether for the 1 hour or the 4 hour, my stop loss will be over here. Okay, why over there? Is because I believe that's the 50%. Okay, it's close to the 50%. Now, at the same time, should price actually break above all the way, we'll know clearly that price has already retraced 50% firstly. Secondly, price has broken above the descending trend line resistance. So for these two reasons, I will know that my short bias is wrong and I can actually close out my losing trade, right, and go long and play it to the swing high area and at least recoup some of our losses. Okay, so I'm just going to put this here. Sorry, I'm just going to put this as alternate case. Alright, so last thing we need to do is to check our indicator. We see that price is really holding very nicely below the moving average. Okay, 21 moving average, I can even give it a bit more room and put the 34 moving average, and we see that in the downtrend, market holds below the moving average very nicely over here as well. So price is below the moving average and MACD is below 0, showing room for further bearish momentum. So thanks everyone for tuning in to today's analysis on the dollar CAD. I hope you guys learned a bit from this video. Wish you guys have a great weekend and catch you guys the following week. Thank you.